Good evening, good night, good morning. Wherever you're watching this transmission, 'tis I, mikeinthenight. So I'm going to roll around a bit here just to wait till some comments or people start rolling in to the live stream. Today I got a really special alt-right or right-wing or whatever you call it anymore. I don't even know what anything is anymore because there's a new name for everything when they can't give you the right or the true answer for something. So, you know, they just make up things as they go along, kind of renegotiating the rules as they go along. You know what I'm saying? So tonight I want to talk about a little bit about right-wing politics, right? Right-wing, left-wing, and the huge divide that we have now going on. You know, I wasn't the sharp... I still am not the sharpest tool in the shed. I still am the guy that's at the back of the class that everyone used to make fun of. I'm still that guy that, you know, that can't read. You know what I'm saying? But I'm seeing what's happening with this right and left thing, and the whole left seems to be on some sort of trip, if you want to say it like that. They're on a trip. You know, like on some sort of some delusional thinking or something. I don't know what's in their water, you know. And I want to tell you this. I want to bring this up because I saw this article the other day, and it was concerning. Cancelled alt-right activists. Stefan Molyneux and Lauren Sutherland in limbo after venue backs out of hosting the event. Okay, so then you look up what alt-right means. So that's right-wing, alt-right. The alt-right or alternative right is loosely connected and somewhat ill-defined grouping of white supremacists, white neo-Nazis, neo-fascists, neo-Confederates, Holocaust deniers, and far-right fringe hate groups. They gotta add global warming, anti-global warming, and anti-climate change in there. I think they need to kind of put that in there too. Alt-right beliefs have been described as isolationists, protectionists, asthmatics, and white supremacy, frequently overlapping with neo-Nazism, authoritarianism, nativism, Islamophobia, and I don't even know what the hell this crap even means. I've never even heard half of this crap. Right-wing populism and neo-reactionary movement. The concept has further been associated with several groups such as American nationalists, I don't even know what the hell I'm reading here. So they're trying to say that there's a movement called the alt-right, okay? So, okay, let's go back here and read what right-wing is, okay? Right-wing. Someone who is right-wing in politics is usually someone who supports social or economic conservatism. In other words, someone right-wing usually supports tradition and the way things are. People are extremely right-wing called reactionary and want either return of the way things were before, such as neo-reaction, or more often start of reaction against left-wing ideas which are spreading in the country. Right-wing supports tradition and authority. The right wing in some countries like the United States may also usually be in support of social liberalism and capitalist economy where the government has little influence. Usually the right wing thinks of society as similar to a living thing, that it's called organic society. They believe that the society's customs and traditions are a collection of things we have learned from the past and are useful and should be maintained as much as possible. Okay. Now, let me tell you from my understanding growing up, what right-wing means. Right-wing is if you work hard, you are entitled to benefit the benefits of your labor. You know, you have ownership to your work. Each person has the freedom to create and exchange. The more you produce, or the more you do, or the more harder you work, the more you get. You know what I'm saying? That's right wing. Right wing is entitlement to benefits of your labor. What you've done, what you've created, what you've made. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, guys. I'm really thirsty. Anyway, so that's what right wing means. And Walking Journey is saying liberalism has had a strong control over humanity for countries and want full control again. Yeah, that's very true. So let me talk about someone's commenting in the comment section. Mike, did Portugal experience a civil war like this, like in Spain? No. Portugal had the Day of Carnations, where everybody put carnation flowers in their barrels of their gun after Salazar died. Salazar, the Portuguese dictator, when he passed away, instead of civil war, it was the Day of Carnations. And yeah, there was really no, I think one person died, the whole thing. So the reason why I'm saying this, you know, is because, okay, I got an email, I have it here to my right side, and somebody called me an alt-right, the same thing they called this guy here. Alt-right, they called me an alt-right supporter, is what they called me. And they sent me an email, and it said, Mike, Donald Trump is to blame for what is happening in the housing market in Canada. If you can't get your head out of your butt, then you can see his plan to sink Canadian housing market. He has it in for Canada. We never had to raise interest rates and never had to and never needed to. A true economist, not that I'm calling you one, will set his radar on Donald Trump, unsubbed. So basically somebody got upset about the housing market dropping, and I've been forecasting this for the longest time, because this is not a normal housing market. This is not a normal thing that's happening right now. It's like abnormal. It's not your typical trends in the housing that you've had in the past. Bubble pop, bubble pop, bubble pop, right? So it's not the same stuff you get. You know what I'm saying? That there's historically, you know what I'm saying? That's not what's happening. It's very different now. So it's very different right now, and it's becoming a big problem. Sorry, I just keep getting a lot of people. So Donald Trump is not to blame for the housing problem. The housing problem was going to come regardless if Donald Trump became president. If anything, if Donald Trump didn't become president, they wouldn't have raised interest rates, and the housing bubble would have gone on for another 4 or 5 years, maybe 7 years. Houses would have been $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 million. Cities would have been abandoned. Everybody would leave. Nobody would buy those houses that are worth $5 million. You know what I'm saying? So someone's commenting here. Mike is not wearing one of his cool sombreros. No, when I wear a nice jacket, I like to look clean, you know, like Kojak. So anyways, let's continue here, guys. So this is right-wing, okay? So to me, again, I'm going to say what right-wing to me means. I am obviously on the right, and it's because I believe in working hard, work ethics, and entitled. You are entitled to the benefits of your labor. I worked hard, and I bought myself this house. I'm entitled to this house because I worked for it. I'm entitled to my jacket because I worked to buy this jacket. It wasn't given to me. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't socialized in a way, and it was handed to me, where I got it in equality. and through equality. You know what I'm saying? Then someone's commenting, record low interest rates and availability of finance are to blame the housing bubble. Trump is just a distraction. That's correct. You know, anything that goes wrong anywhere nowadays, it's Donald Trump. You could go to one of those leftists on the street and pretend to interview them like they're on the news and say, I heard the other day on CNN that Donald Trump actually took a time machine, went back to 1939 and actually started World War II, and now scientists are coming up with proof of that. How do you feel? Do you think he has the audacity to go and start World War II? And then somebody would look and say, oh yeah, I believe he would do that. I believe, he has the power to get a time machine. It's like, are you friggin' serious? That's how bad things are getting out of control. Someone saying, Mike, because you lived in Mexico, can you talk about the new president of Mexico's future? I don't know who the new president is. When I was living in Mexico, the president was Vicente Fox. I think his first term. I don't know who the president is. I know it's a young guy, but I don't know who he is. Yes, what happens in Mexico does affect the U.S. and Canada, definitely does. But Mexico's a little bit different. It's a very tough country to immigrate to. It's a very tough country to do anything in, because it's so the laws are in place to protect the Mexican proper, right? So a lot of people don't know that, right? So this is what right-wing means, right? And then there's alt-right. I read this earlier. I don't even know what the hell I'm reading here. It's just a bunch of circles. It's just going in circles of discussions going in circles. You know what I'm saying? So then there's alt-right. Okay, then this one here, I'm not going to mention her name because it's going to flag my video, created that. Ever since she had that speech and created that word, alt-right, it's like when George W. Bush stood up after 9/11 on top of that pile of rubble and said Al-Qaeda is to blame. But Al-Qaeda didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm just getting completely bombarded here with messages. So, yeah, so it doesn't make any sense. So ever since they made this article, alt-right activists Stefan Molyneux and Lauren Sutherland in limbo, but they're not alt-right. It doesn't. Why is the media spinning? See, I don't read any of this crap. What I read is, like, if I'm reading something, when it comes to understanding something, I'm looking at the price of oil, which will be $100 soon. I'm looking at the price of gold, spot gold. I'm looking at the prices of those kind of things, because those are factual numbers. Those are actual numbers. I don't look at this crap. But when they're calling out somebody and calling them an alt-right, because Stefan Molyneux likes to discuss an open discussion and pick people's brains and make people think outside the box. And so when you think outside the box, you're considered an alt-right. It just doesn't. I don't know anything, but this doesn't add up. So this is the big speech here. Watch this.
Democratic nominee devoted her speech to reminding the world of Trump's unseemliest remarks and retweets, dubbing him a hero of the alt-right, a loud and virulent part of the conservative movement fueled by white nationalism.
From the start, Donald Trump has built his campaign on prejudice and paranoia. He is taking hate groups mainstream and helping a radical fringe take over the Republican Party. And let's not forget that Trump first gained political prominence leading the charge for the so-called birthers. He promoted the racist lie that President Obama is not really an American citizen. So the de facto merger between Breitbart and the Trump campaign represents a landmark achievement for this group, a fringe element that has effectively taken over the Republican Party. And this is part of a broader story, the rising tide of hardline right-wing nationalism around the world. So no one should have any illusions about what's really going on here.
Sorry I made you have to hear that, but ever since she called alt-right out that day, I still remember that day. It's been on the news every day. It's been in every second page of every... So, this is from, what, 2 days ago. Terrorism is surging in the U.S. fueled by right-wing ideologies. So, terrorism is in retreat around the world. Attacks fell from about 17,000 in 2014 to 11,000 in 2017, dropped almost 40% in the Middle East, yet not in the U.S. The country sees the surging in terrorism. There are only 6 attacks in the U.S. a decade ago, but 65 in 2017. The number of fatalities is also increasing. Okay. The population is going up also. So how does this tie to right-wing? I don't get it. So, okay, wait. Here we go. The database classifies cases according to attackers' affiliations like the Ku Klux Klan, or when it can't find a group by its author's identity, white extremists or jihad-inspired, for example. Courts analyzed each attack as classified them into right-leaning, left-leaning, or... So, it doesn't make any sense. So, attackers in 2017 U.S. terror incidents. So, they're breaking it down by right, left, and then Islamic and unknown. So, this is not saying alt-right. They're calling it right-wing ideology. So why are they slamming the right?
The names may have changed. Racists now call themselves racialists. White supremacists now call themselves white nationalists. The paranoid fringe now calls itself alt-right. But the hate burns just as bright. This is a moment of reckoning for every Republican dismayed that the party of Lincoln has become the party of Trump.
So, why are we pushing so hard to create a divide between each other? Why are we throwing ourselves under the bus? Purposely setting ourselves up for failure? It's something I can't understand it. It's like going out and destroying a bridge. But, okay, we need that bridge back. Let's go build it back because we can't live without that bridge. But then you build it all back. Everything comes back to normal. Everything starts flowing. Traffic starts moving. And then, oh, we don't like that bridge. We got to get rid of it. It's no good. But it doesn't make any sense to me. It's not going. Nothing's going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? I need people to start rolling up in the comment section. If you're just tuning in, to me, right wing, growing up, okay, I think when I was 10 years old, I was told what right wing meant. Right wing to me means you work hard and then you're entitled to the benefits of your labor and your natural rights to have ownership in your own work. Each person has the freedom to create and exchange. That's right wing. That's what right means. And I don't understand why it's becoming something else or why it's turning to become something else. And that's what I just don't understand. I'm just trying to be clear-cut, just like to the point. I'm not picking on anybody. I just want to know, that's what right means. That's what right has also mean. You know what I'm saying? People need to understand that inequality is a natural thing. It's not. There's a lot of people out there that are way better, that are way richer, way better off, better hair, taller than me, better looking than me. It's just inequality. It's normal. You know, it's normal. Okay, my man Dale Cunningham's in the comments. Anyone who is an ultra-left is apparently alt-right these days. I'm right-wing too. Mike, but apparently the racists these days, we are racist these days for being on the right wing. So this is what I don't understand. Okay, guys, listening to me, okay? Listen to me. Don't listen. See, Wikipedia, I don't even know what the hell this is trying to tell me here. This is confusing as crap when you read it. All it says talk about this, Nazism, what is this? Holocaust deniers, a pile of crap here. I don't even know what the hell this thing's trying to tell me. It's a bunch of names, and then it goes into other crap and dates, and then it calls national anarchists and this, and like right-wing populism. It's like, whoa, I just want a definition. I just don't, all this crap, and then it links to neo-Nazis. It's like, whoa, I'm right-wing. Okay? And people should respect that. I believe that if you work hard, you should be entitled to the benefits of your labor. Period. I worked hard. I bought my house. Nobody gave me my house. I bought it. I worked for it. Okay? I bought this microphone. Everything I have, I bought. I am reaping the benefits of my labor is what I'm doing. You sow what you reap, or what you plant, whatever you call it. I don't know what the saying is. Anyways, let's go over to the comment section. Social engineering doesn't work, and equality is normal. And it's all lies. Google Wikipedia will only ever show you left-wing views. That is very correct. That is very, very correct. So, capital is king spot on... Capitalism is king spot on Mike. So, what it is... Somebody called me a right-wing fascist, or an alt-right fascist. And they sent me an email, and I'm going to reread you the email if you're just tuning in. Donald Trump is to blame for what is happening to the housing market in Canada. If you can't get your head out of your butt, then you can't see his plan to sink Canadian housing market. He has it in for Canada. We never had to raise interest rates or ever needed to raise interest rates ever. A true economist, not that I'm calling you one, will set his radar to Donald Trump, unsubbed. So, right wing, left wing. I remember reading like history books and learning that in the whole French thing back in the day, the French had the democracy set. You would either sit to the left of the hall or the right of the hall. And if you sat on the left, you believed in... if you sat on the left, you believed basically... you're given more by the state. It's a form of socialism, and I think it totally disintegrates ownership if you sit on the left, and basically you expect the government to take from the rich and give to the poor. That's more of a left ideal, where it's social payments or social benefits or social, like it's a social thing, right? You're kind of dependent on things. I think it has a lot to do with disintegration of ownership is what I think it means. Where right wing is you work hard and then you're entitled to the benefits of your labor. And I keep saying that over and over because that's the way I was taught. You know, that's just what the two sides, to me, in my opinion, mean. And then saying, so someone says, Walking Journey saying we need a civil war really bad. Then Dale's saying, what a nut job. Then Walking Journey is saying, Donald Trump 2020, make America great again. So, this social divide is destroying the fabric of humanity. It's bringing us back into the Stone Age. It's bringing us back into... We're not advancing. And we won't advance until we find some sort of a median in the middle. Not everyone's going to be on the left, and not everyone's going to be on the right. But the problem is, if we could at least meet halfway to some sort of an agreement, but the leftists so... Far leftists are so delusionalized that they want the destruction of a disintegration of all ownership. You know when they had that whole thing about the 1% and they control 99% of the wealth. It's actually they control 40% of the wealth, not 99%. Inequality is always going to be there. Inequality is a natural. It's just like I said. There's always going to be someone taller than me. There's going to be someone better looking than me. There's always going to be somebody. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good thing because it pushes you to be better. It pushes you to set goals. It pushes you to establish and take opportunity. It pushes you to work hard to be better than the other guy. You know what wakes me up in a cold sweat at night sometimes is when I wake up and just worried about how back in the day you would have to work your butt off hard to make it above the guy, to make it ahead of the guy ahead of you, to be better than him. You work hard, you put in extra hours, you reap the benefits of your labor, and then you finally get promoted and you beat the guy ahead of you. And you feel good. You've accomplished something. You achievement. Nowadays, people wait for him to die on his face so they can move ahead. That's the sad part. All right, comments are flowing here. Dale Cunningham is saying we need a Trump in Oz. Walking Journey is make sure to vote this November midterm elections. Working on it is saying Trudeau won't win this election again. Yeah, the whole liberal thingy that's going on, no one's ever going to trust him anymore. There's a bigger silent majority right now. There's a huge silent majority that silently rules the country, and they're just kind of holding back and watching this whole fiasco unfold. Then Dale says, there's no one better looking than you, Mike Martins. Yeah, right. Thank you, though. Thank you, Dale. And Walking Journey says, socialism and liberalism don't work. Look at Venezuela. Yeah, because, okay, so what's happening in Venezuela, they were so heavily dependent on oil. They were so heavily dependent on government support and stuff like that, and socialist programs and stuff to help them going. And boom, the oil devalued in value, devalued itself, and people started eating dogs and cats, and there's more to Venezuela. There's a lot more to Venezuela. But people need to understand, right? You work hard, and you're entitled to benefits of your labor. Left is a form of left to me is a bridge. It's like socialism is a bridge to capitalism, and it leads to communism. That's what I think Marxist belief said. You know what I'm saying? And okay, this is like a left thing. The left thing. Think of it like this: does someone who doesn't work should be allowed to receive more money than someone who works 40 hours a week? So if someone doesn't work, refuses to work, wants a government handout, should they be making more than someone that goes out and works 40 hours a week? That's the main, you know what I'm saying? So our fabric of society is so deteriorating and falling apart. We are, you know what it is? We are segregated in our minds. All the segregation, all the divide, all the black and white and religion, all that, it's all up here. It's always been in our heads. It's something that we've created. It's something that natural order is right. The way things are, progression, reap what you sow. You plant, you raise 10 pigs. You got 6-7 months of food, but you raise one pig, then you complain you don't have enough, you didn't work hard enough, or you refuse to work, and your one pig dies, and you want to take 2 of the 6 pigs the other guy rose. You know what I'm saying? Raised. That's what's happening here nowadays, people. So people in the comment sections are going, is Australia our main right party is called Liberal? Okay, in Australia, our main right-wing party is called Liberal. Left is Labour. Both terrible. Left want everything for free. Yeah, well, the left is like I said, left is the total disintegration of ownership. Period. That's what it is. That everybody should be given stuff and equally. But without inequality, it would be a communist country. So people need to understand that. If you don't have inequality, it leads to socialism, then it bridges to capitalism, and then it ends up becoming communism. So, because the social programming leads to capital growth, and then eventually you fall into capital communism, right? So, till everything becomes communism, right? This is a really tough thing to talk about. And then Anon's in the comments saying left-wing ideologies are doing the fueling. Yeah, so let's go back here. So right here, it is left-wing ideologies that is doing the fueling. So canceled. Alt-right activists Stephen Molyneux and Lauren Sutherland, alt-right activists. So somebody sent me an email and called me an alt-right fascist. Because I'm not blaming Donald Trump for the housing crisis in Canada. Then you got right-wing. This is my hero right here. Nigel Farage vows to end Brexit. Sellout. You know. London and Britain is growing sense of Brexit deja vu. 2 years after the country voted to leave the European Union, which was a great move. Emotional arguments about the membership in the bloc are raging furiously as they did during the 2016 referendum. With 7 months until Britain officially leaving the bloc, negotiations flattering. Chances are rising as the acrimonious divorce, and the one thing that pro and anti-EU forces have in common is that they are both unhappy. Former UKIP, UK Independence Party leader Nigel Farage announced Saturday that he'll be returning to political campaign in a bid to derail British Prime Minister Theresa May's plan for future ties with the EU. Farage, the right-winger who helped lead successful Leave campaign in 2016, wrote in the Daily Telegraph that he would join the cross-country bus tour in the group called Leave, Men's Leave Oppose May's Crowley sellout. Referring to UK's politicians, civil servants, he said, unless challenged, these anti-democrats will succeed in frustrating the result of referendum. So, alt-right is coming to Washington, D.C., and here's how the anti-racist groups are preparing. So I guess if you're right-wing, you're considered a racist. So every article is putting it that way. Worried about the alt-rights? Be the anti-right. The alt-right isn't right. So, and every time they mention alt-right, they either show people with Nazi flags or Southern rebel flags. And here's what a lot of people don't understand, okay? That when the South lost the war, okay, the war wasn't over slavery and holding slaves. The war was over banks. It was a bank war. The South did not want to join the World Bank until Andrew Jackson, the guy on the $20 bill, later on abolished the banking system. But the South didn't want nothing to do with it. It's a long. I'll get someone on the show that can explain this to you guys better. That can explain the Civil War, that's been to Gettysburg, that's been to the Alamo, that's been all around the U.S. Studying and debunking its history. Good friend of mine. And the North kept slaves I'm not sure if it's 6 or 8 years longer than the South did. Okay, it was never about slavery. It never was. It was banks. World War I, banking. World War II, banks. Iraq War, oil, banks. Bank. They're all bank wars. You get the same gun manufacturer, okay, arm both sides of the conflict. They don't take a side. It's all banking. Money. Divide and conquer. All right, there's more comments coming in here. Anon says, the Nazis were on the political left socialists, so really the leftists are the fascists. They censor and can't handle the truth. History is repeating. Propaganda is rife. Yeah, that's true. Dale says, they think we are racist because we don't believe in open borders. Well, why did people protect borders for thousands of years with their lives? Why did people protect their country and their sovereignty of their country and protect their way of life, the lives for their countrymen, and risk their lives protecting their borders for? Because they want to have something for themselves. They want to have something they could call their land, their country, their, you know, more people died protecting their borders than any other ways of conflict. More people die protecting their borders on a daily basis that we don't even know of. Like, if you look at what's happening in Cambodia and Vietnam borders and stuff, and all the conflicts there, and Thailand borders and stuff, and the Indo-China border there for India and China, and disputes on the border. It's always border disputes. Why? Because they want to protect what's theirs. There's no such thing as open borders. Open borders don't exist. Open borders are there. I mean, if there was open borders, there would be... It wouldn't work. Because let's say there's open borders. Okay. I'm going to move to Central Africa. It's mineral rich. Or Brazil. It's mineral rich. This, and that. There's so many things that will end up stopping me doing what I want to do. There's no open borders to go openly and you know, there's going to be laws, a law of the land. Hey, wait, you can't put that mine there. Well, I bought this land. It's open borders. I want to put a mine here and start mining this gold. Well, no. You're in this country. Well, but the borders are open. I could live here. Well, it doesn't matter. You got to give us 90% of what that mine makes, and 8% has to go to this, and you keep the 2%. Well, but it's open borders. Aren't we free? No, you're not. Because there's still a law of the land. So people are forgetting that. All right. Nazis were the National Socialist Party. Wikipedia will try to tell you the right wing, but they're not. They were indeed left. They were, definitely. There was white slaves in history too. Of course there was. In Central, the goulash in Russia, there were tons of white. They started out white, the red-haired. They were the red-haired slaves. They started out as there was more white slaves than ever in recorded history than there was any other slavery of any other ethnicity background. It was whites, tens of millions of them. What were they called? Was something in the goulash? The red-haired guys, very white as ghosts. Forgot what they were called. There was a name for them. Anyways, the war for independence. The slaves fought for independence too. In Indonesia, there is a separate state that succeeded but are silent. The Papua conflict is ongoing. Conflict in Indonesian government. Western journalists are being jailed there. You know, I was threatened to be jailed for the documentary I did, genocide in Timor-Leste, in East Timor, Portuguese Timor. I did a documentary about Timor-Leste in Portuguese, and it ended up pushing some buttons, and I was actually threatened to be jailed and harmed because of the documentary I made about Timor in Indonesia, how Indonesia basically weaponized themselves and basically to cleanse and murder all the Catholics. And there was a huge genocide at the church there. And to cleanse, basically destroy all the Catholics living there. And just wiping out an entire nation of people. A huge genocide there. And then the Irish. No, the Irish weren't. No. I don't understand the whole white privilege thing. When Asians are smarter and earn more, but white people are bad. Yeah. The whole white privilege thing. I never understood that either. I never gave nobody gave me my house. I worked and bought my house. I bought my van. I worked, I bought, I have what I have because I worked for it. Again, guys, let me brainwash this into your head. Okay, this is what I was taught. If you're right wing, idealism, very simple, in one sentence, you work hard and you're entitled to the benefits of your labor. It's basically a natural right, and it's you have ownership in your own work. The more you produce, you raise 6 pigs, you get to eat for 6 months. Your neighbor doesn't raise any pigs, he wants to take your pigs away. You know what I'm saying? Each person has the freedom to create an exchange. That's right. That's what right wing means. Okay, right wing is inequality, and that's what it is always going to be. You're always going to have someone that's going to work harder to produce, to move ahead in the line. You're always going to have a better speaker than you. You're always going to have someone that's smoother than you. You're going to always have someone, that's a good liar. You're always going to have, it's someone's always going to be better at something. That's what makes inequality so cool. Because we learn from each other. We build off each other. But no, it's always, you know what I'm saying? It's always this negative perspective. Greetings from the Pearl of the Orient, Mr. E. Thanks for joining us. And it's something I just never understood in the past, I don't know, couple of I don't know, since pretty much Trump became president. Alt-right isn't right. So they always have people with rebel flags. And they always make it seem like it's a racial thing. Trump's failure to condemn the bigots of the alt-right tars his presidency. Like, these are all lies. Teaching white supremacy in the age of the alt-right. CNN, right-wing extremism gains a voice in Germany. So if you're right-wing, you're considered extremism. Sorry, guys, I'm tired. It's Mike in the Night, guys. The right wing continues a destructive crusade. Antifa, encouraged by the media, grows by spreading fear and paranoia. Yeah, Antifa's weird. So, yeah. Like, left wing is, like I said, it's the total disintegration of ownership, and it's, give from the rich and take from the rich and give to the poor type of thing, and equal distribution. And that's the way I was taught, Someone's commenting here. Oh, someone asked, did you read chapter 1 yet, Mike? Yes, I read it, and I'll read it online in a couple of days when I go back to the shop. It's been really busy with family. Someone's sending me a story to read about their time in Australia and what happened and different things happening and just back and forth life experience. And comment, guys. Let me know what's on your minds. This whole right-wing thing. Ever since I saw this pissed me off the other day. Alt-right activists Stefan Molyneux and Lauren Southern. I've been listening to those guys for I've been listening to Stefan Molyneux for years. On and off, years. Many years. And when I was actually shocked when they're being labeled as alt-right activists. You know? Somebody sent me an email and it upset me. So, Anon says, if you look at the well-off people, it wouldn't even put a dent in the global world debt. We are just servicing interest. That's correct. Mr. E says, South Africa trying to equalize the wealth right now. Not going well there. Yeah. So, it's called xenophobia. When a country like South Africa is in fear of losing to an outside race, creed, color, religion, and that's called xenophobia, when they want to cleanse or remove. Here, let's look it up so I'm not making things up here. Okay, xenophobia. Pronunciation. Fear, hatred, or mistrust which is foreign, especially strangers or people from different countries or cultures. That's called xenophobia. And that's what South Africa is experiencing right now, is xenophobia. They're trying to remove all the white people there. A lot of them have been going to, northeast to Mozambique, to Portuguese Africa. And a lot of them are being accepted there. And quite a bit of them actually being accepted there and given land to farm, if that's what they want to do. And that's what's happening right now with that. Anon says it is the 0.001%, 0.1 hold most of the world's wealth. All our central banks are private Rothschild banks. The currency isn't government issued. They are merely private military scrip. That's true. Australia is having issues with African gangs. The government is shipping them to disrupt our way of life. So, Mikey Rides, it says, can't be right-wing or right-leaning without being labeled alt-right. Right, so that the problem is when you're labeled alt-right. I was labeled alt-right because I'm not blaming Donald Trump for the housing crash. But then you look at what Wikipedia says about alt-right, it just takes you to a bunch of Nazis and people wearing Hitler t-shirts and people wearing... okay, that guy looks okay, but I'm talking about like just the images they put up here of what alt-right is not what I am. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to say this through this entire damn transmission so people could understand. Right wing, and this is what I believe, is you work hard and you're entitled to the benefits of your labor. It's a natural right. I'm going to keep saying this because this is how I have it memorized. And have ownership in your own work. And that each person has the freedom to create an exchange. That's it. That's what right-leaning means. Inequality. I want to make 1,000 of these water jugs a day. Okay, and sell them. and I have the energy and I have the strength to do it, but my neighbor or two doors down wants to steal these from me and sell them, or complains that he's not getting anything, and I'm the one that's getting rich and buying cars and houses because I'm making 1,000 I'm working hard and making 1,000 of these a day. He's upset because he does nothing and he wants the same equality life or the same life that I'm living because he's not producing, but he still wants it. You know what I'm saying? He still wants that good life. You get what you put in, guys. You put in 100%, you get back 100%. You got to believe me on this. You know? Left is disintegration of ownership. And the left depends on the government to take from the rich and give to the poor. You know? So, okay, apex gangs are what they're called. I was talking about the gangs in Australia. It's all a giant puppet show where the media is concerned. Mikey Rides has said, good to tune into your show again. It's been a while. Yeah, good to see you, bud. And then Mikey E says, it's like the story of a little red hen. And then our media, and then Mikey Rides says, our media is left-wing propaganda machine. Why are they pushing the left agenda so hard? Has anyone actually asked, what does the... we know what the left wants. The left wants, basically, total disintegration of ownership, period. I believe in creation, working. I believe in preserving. I believe in you know, I want my kids to have the, I want them to be entitled to what I've worked for one day when I pass on. I want my children to be entitled, you know, to, because I worked for my kids. It's not like, oh, your dad gave you this and your dad gave you that. No, well, no, you know what my son's going to say? My dad wasn't a loser. That's why. My dad wasn't a loser. He worked and he paid off his house, and his grandpa, he'll say, my grandpa paid off his house, and you know they work hard and they had disposable income. We took trips, we did things, and then everybody in the neighborhood hated us because we were living the dream. And that's what it's all about. Mr. E says, the left fanatics are just the engine to drive the world towards authoritarian rule. A mix of Brave New World and 1984. Guys, if you haven't read 1984, just read it. It's a really good book. And it was written in 1948. George Orwell. He also wrote books like Animal Farm. I've read Animal Farm. And I think he wrote Of Mice and Men. I think that was him. I'm not too sure. But it was written in 1948, so he switched the numbers around and made it 1984. And it's basically the whole Big Brother situation. What you're seeing in London right now with all the cameras everywhere. All those cameras. Watching everything you do. You know, looking after what you're doing, or kind of, you know, everywhere. You walk into a shop, you leave a shop, you go across the street, you wait for the bus, you get off the bus. They're following you everywhere. And you know what the stupid thing about it is? If they try to charge you for some sort of a murder or something, you could say, well, look at the cameras and see where I was. They see the cameras and say, okay, no, he wasn't there, but let's blame him anyway for it, because he doesn't have access to these cameras. We do. That's how dumb it is. It's like they're pinging off my cell phone, right? And let's say I'm in New Jersey and I'm using my cell phone every day. the whole time I'm there. And they try to blame me for something here. Okay? And I'm like, well, no, check with the cell phone company. I was there in New Jersey. I was using my phone. You could check the record, because they're recording our messages. Yeah, but we can't use that we can't use that to clear you, because that'll be in. No. That's there to listen to you if you're doing something that we can catch you on. But if we want to clear you on something, we can't use that as evidence. Like, really? It's always a one-sided bullcrap thing. You know what I'm saying? And then Mr. E says, all those cameras are never capturing terrorists. Then Martram604 says, I think a lot of the left-wingers are saying that right-wingers are racist and using it as an election benefit with immigration crowd. And then Free Speech New Zealand Radio said, yes, I caught Mike in the night. Hi from Auckland. Yes, Free Speech New Zealand Radio. Thank you for joining me. So if you're just joining us, right and left, what is happening? What's with the social divide? Why are we so segregated? And I think it's all in our minds. We're all segregated in our little peanut of a little brain. All the segregation takes place in our brain before we visualize it as what we want it to believe. And I'm going to say this again. Right wing. And this is my definition. I don't give a crap what this guy say. Wikipedia. Right wing. Work hard. You are entitled to benefits of your labor. Natural rights. Have ownership in your own work. Each person has freedom to create and exchange. Inequality is natural. Left wing. Socialism is a total disintegration of ownership. Give from the rich, take from the rich, and give to the poor. That's what these definitions, this is what I believe in my heart these definitions are. And that's what I've believed all my life. And that's why I've worked hard to put food on the table, worked hard to pay off my house, worked hard to travel, work hard to build a home in the Philippines or whatever we're going to do in our future projects and endeavors. And they call it white privilege? What do you mean? They call it, they make up words for stuff when someone is in inequality in a beneficial, on the benefit side, where, not benefits as receiving benefits, I'm saying on the benefit side where your hard work is finally paying off for you, you reap what you sow, so you have something good going on in your life and everyone looks at you like, oh, that guy, and this and that, and this and that, you know. So, anyways, comments moving on. They want us to use, okay, sorry, my vision's blurry here. They want us to use all this tracking to tax our movement. Wikipedia has been hijacked by leftist trolls. Then Mikey rises, yes, the lefts are saying that. Everything is racist. If Hitler used toilet paper and you use toilet paper, you are racist because Hitler was racist. Guilty by association. And then working on it says, you got to show us how to sell on eBay. Yeah, I could do that for you guys. I could do a step-by-step tutorial on that. I'm doing really well with that. And I'm benefiting off it. I'm doing extremely well off that. And the people that complain about eBay are the ones that don't use the opportunities and take them. You know what I'm saying? I work hard. I list these 200 magic cards. Okay? I make my wealth, and then it goes back, you know, and then my neighbor 2 doors down the road doesn't want to list any magic cards and wants to complain and this and that, but he still wants what I have. And that's in where the problem lies. That is the problem, my friends. And people need to come to the conclusion that inequality is just a natural thing. People need to understand that. There's always going to be someone that's taller than me. There's going to be someone that's stronger than me. There's going to be someone that's way smarter than me. You know, there's going to be people that are, you know, and it's what makes us human. It's humans, and it's what makes us a unique society. Right now, the fabric is falling apart. We're being more and more segregated. And you know, somebody emailed me. So if you're tuning into the show right now, somebody emailed me and said, Donald Trump is to blame for what is happening in the housing market in Canada. If you can get your head out of your butt, then you can see his plan is to sink the Canadian housing market. He has it in for Canada. We never had to raise interest rates and never needed to raise interest rates. A true economist, not that I'm calling you one, will set his radar to Donald Trump. Unsubscribed. So somebody bought a house. It's losing value. And guess what? It's Donald Trump's fault. It's the alt-right's fault. It's the right-wing's fault. Let's get to some comments here. Mr. E says, they call it one label or another as cheap excuse for their own sloth and envy. Slogans with no substance. They are not interested in discussion. That's true. That's very true. Free Speech in New Zealand Radio says, right wing makes me think of my great-grandparents' time. Yes, exactly. Can I tell you why? Right wing, slow progression, the old ways, reap what you sow. You plant 10 cabbages, guess what? You're going to eat 10 cabbages. Your neighbor doesn't plant any cabbages, then he's pissed off because you're having dinner and he isn't. So, my great-grandparents' time, people had to work hard or they died. No welfare. Left-wing me is for those who are enslaved by the government, no freedom. And then Free Speech New Zealand Radio says, right freedom, left slavery. That's exactly what it is. So, guys, left-wing is like, basically, if you look at the Marxist theory, socialism is a bridge to capitalism. The capitalism is the bridges to communism. It's very simple. It's the pattern. It's the way a good socialist country builds a strong foundation bridge to capitalism. Then the capitalism takeover basically creates a nice slope into communism. You know? Why would anyone, like, okay, I guess I get it. There's going to be left and right. Not everyone's going to be on the same side. I just don't believe in disintegration of ownership. I don't want that. I want to have my things. Okay, you want to call me a materialistic person? Go ahead and call me a materialistic person. Am I living comfortable? Yes. Yes. That's the key in life. The key in life is not winning the lottery. The key to life is not someone giving you $100 million. Is being comfortable. That's the key. That's always been the key to life. What is the key to life? Is it money? Is it fame? It's none of that stuff. It's comfort. Are you comfortable? So New Zealand Radio is here, Free Speech. Free Speech New Zealand Radio. So when I saw this, alt-right activist Stefan Molyneux and Lauren Sutherland in limbo. Alt-right activists. You look up what alt-right means. This is from the New Zealand Herald. You go back here. It's a bunch of crap. I can't even read this. I mean, I can't even read what they're saying here. Alt-right or alternative right is a loosely connected and somewhat ill-defined group of white supremacists / white nationalists, neo-Nazi, neo-fascists, neo-Confederates, Holocaust deniers. Hold on. I have to add something to that. Global warming disputers and climate change disputers should be in there too. And other far-right fringe hate groups. I don't even know what the hell I read there. I really don't know what I read there. All right beliefs have been described as isolationists, protectionists, anti-Semitic, and white supremacists, frequently overlapping with neo-Nazism. I don't get this. So if you believe in working hard and benefit, reap what you sow, and have ownership in your own work, and freedom to create, and freedom to exchange the things you create, that? What the hell is that? Neo-activity movements. The concept has been associated with several groups such as American nationalists, paleo-conservatives, anarcho-capitalists, national anarchists. What the hell is this crap? What is this crap? So then maybe this person might tell us what it is, because she's the one that made up the alt-right word. Right here. Let's listen to this one more time. I'm sorry you have to...
Latest efforts to soften his rhetoric and reach out to minority voters. This afternoon in Reno, Nevada, Democratic nominee devoted her speech to reminding the world of Trump's unseemliest remarks and retweets, dubbing him a hero of the alt-right, a loud and virulent part of the conservative movement fueled by white nationalism.
From the start, Donald Trump has built his campaign on prejudice and paranoia. He is taking hate groups mainstream and helping a radical fringe take over the Republican Party. And let's not forget that Trump first gained political prominence leading the charge for the so-called birthers. He promoted the racist lie that President Obama is not really an American citizen. So the de facto merger between Breitbart and the Trump campaign represents a landmark achievement for this group, a fringe element that has effectively taken over the Republican Party. And this is part of a broader story, the rising tide of hardline right-wing nationalism around the world. So no one should have any illusions about what's really going on here. The names may have changed. Racists now call themselves racialists. White supremacists now call themselves white nationalists. The paranoid fringe now calls itself alt-right.
Paranoid fringe. What the hell is paranoid fringe? Bear with me, guys. What the hell is paranoid fringe? They have a Facebook page. Ah, here it is. Wikipedia. Paranoid fringe is an idea or a viewpoint which differs from the accepted scholarship in its field. Fringe theories include models of proposals of fringe science, as well as similar ideas. What the hell is this, man? Paranoid fringe. Oh, here we go. I think I found something here. Constitutional law. Yeah, it's too long. What the hell is paranoid fringe? The paranoid fringe in American politics. Rough consensus among historians and how the right became a dominant political force in the American politics in the second half of the 20th century. The story starts in 1955. Okay, so like it's hardworking people that work their way up and have a good, end up reaping what they sow, or setting up a good. I don't know what this has to do with the Nazi political party. The Nazi political party was voted in. The Workers' Party was voted in, I think, in 1931 or 1929. Far leaning left fascist party. Like far left leaning fascist party. So, what does that have to do with people on the right who are right wing? You know what I'm saying? So let's go here. What we should have is a private fund. We pay, let's say, 10% for safekeeping, so when we fall out of work, to help us through periods in jobs between. Yeah, we do that. It's called, we have unemployment insurance, and then if you lose your job, you get something in between, right? And then we do EI, unemployment insurance, but you do end up paying it back if you have work ethic, if you have any work ethic at all. In any even Mike, back to work, always a pleasure. Mr. E has left us, people. Mr. E has left the building. Hillary Clinton is one evil bee, and she has a trail of mysterious deaths too. Yet Clinton body count, I think it's at 26 or 24. I'm not too sure. And then Mikey writes it. Hey Mike, still choking on forest fire smoke down there? Yeah, big time, big time, big time. It's pretty bad. That's why I have all my windows and doors closed. So guys, this is it. I wanted to bring this up. This is going everywhere. Somebody sent me an email, and I was very, very discontent with it. Called me a right-wing fascist, saying that Donald Trump is to blame for what is happening in the housing market in Canada. If you can get your head out of your butt, then you could see his plan to sink the Canadian housing market. He has it in for Canadians. We never had to raise interest rates and never needed to raise interest rates. A true economist, not that I'm calling you one, will set his radar to Donald Trump, unsubbed. So that's not, you know, I don't get it. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know why we can't politically accept each other. If you're right and you believe in hard work and benefiting a beautiful lifestyle, the lifestyle you dream of, building your dream, having ownership, the freedom to create and then sell the stuff you create, or exchange or barter, that's fantastic. It's there. But then when you want, then there's the left, and then you basically want to disintegrate all of ownership, take from the rich and give to the poor, and basically make the same money that a guy working 50 hours a week gets, and not work. You know, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Let's go over this real. Terrorism is surging in the U.S., fueled by right-wing ideologies. This is not alt-right. They're saying right-wing ideologies. And then this one. UK right-wing, Farage. This is the one. Alt-right is coming to Washington, D.C. Hey, here's how the anti-racist groups are preparing. 1 year after Charlottesville, a counter-protester aimed to stand against hate. But it doesn't make any sense. What does the right have to do with hate? It just doesn't make... I understand, like, what they're trying to make people believe. I could see this. But why are so many people buying into it? You know? Why are so many people buying into this? I want to read this article for you guys because this is a really good article here. Hold on, this is actually a good one here. Oh, where'd it go today? There we go. Antifa encouraged by the media grows by spreading fear and paranoia. Listen to this, guys. It's not too long of an article. Actually, it's a bit long, but you know what? I'll read a bit of it because it's actually really good. It's by the Toronto Sun. It was published 2 days ago. There is a pattern of violence coming from leftist activists, particularly those affiliated with the group that calls itself Antifa. Antifa stands for anti-fascists. Ironic, considering these thugs wear black masks, they don't respect freedom of speech or private property, and they actively call for violence against their opposition. If they're not violently clashing with police, they're violently knocking cameras from the hands of journalists. Antifa militias recruited delusioned young adults, many of whom have been brainwashed by Marxist university professors about the supposed evils of Western liberal democracy, and give them a violent outlet for their anger. Here's the Antifa trick. They spread fear and paranoia about fascist neo-Nazi uprising across North America and Europe. They appoint themselves the frontline militia to fight against the supposed fascists and garner strange respect from the mainstream media. They call for direct action, Orwellian jargon that literally means violence against fascists. As Orwell himself wrote, the word of fascism has now no meaning except it is so far as it signifies something not desirable. Antifa members define their enemy as anyone who disagrees with them and dares to attend one of their rallies. Counter to Antifa's fear-mongering, there thankfully is no neo-Nazi uprising in the West. Only about 25 white supremacist losers showed up to much-hyped Charlottesville rally this year compared to hundreds of police and media and counter-protesters. Because Antifa has its own agenda, they believe in communism, anarchy, open borders, and street fighting. They remain active and constantly organize protests. They hate the police, the media, and conservatives with equal scorn. Despite this open hostility, CBC and CNN and many other biased news outlets have provided glowing coverage of Antifa. CBC once did a friendly interview with the author of Antifa Political Handbook, where the author repeatedly justified violence while the host nodded along. A bunch of yes men, right? CBC and Antifa have a common enemy, Donald Trump, and conservatives more broadly, and thus, apparently, CBC feels comfortable promoting Antifa tactics. Meanwhile, reports from both the FBI and the United States Department of Homeland Security have warned of Antifa attacks and explicitly referred to Antifa as terrorists. Canadian-British journalist Chris Thomaslin has documented Antifa's terrorist tactics. In May, the group released a terrorist how-to guide, including instructions on how to build bombs, sabotage infrastructure, and evade the police. Given all that what we know, the growing violence on the left, it's strange that some journalists insist Antifa is not a problem nor a threat. Following last week's violent Antifa rally in Toronto, where Toronto Sun photojournalist Stan Behal was assaulted, several left-wing journalists tried to downplay the attack. Jesse Brown, founder of the left-wing news and gossip site Canadaland, stated, "The idea that this incident is illustrative and any wider threat to the press of worthy national news coverage is absurd." Brown went on to say that the physical threats to the media is coming from the right. Antifa is a distraction and justifying the violence as merely anti-racist. Left protesters lashing out at the Sun newspaper, and Suzanne Levy's goading. Brown's website has taken to publishing obsessive conspiracy theories about Sun writers, and now, after Sun journalist was assaulted, Brown basically implying that we at the Sun deserve the violence. Sounds a lot like Antifa's own justification of violence. Antifa thugs should be universally condemned, especially by those who values freedom of speech and freedom of the press. So that's what Antifa is about, guys. It's obviously anything that's anti-Trump is going to get glorified by the media. The media is gonna glorify anything that's anti-Trump, whether even if they're doing harm to innocent people. If they're anti-Trump, that's the right way to go, and that's what's been happening. We're gonna do a whole show with Antifa one time. You know what I'm saying? You know, we're gonna do CJ saying, Mike, I'm Australian. I'm an Australian that has sold homes for builders. I can tell you now, you're spot on about the Australian market. It's about to tank. Epic fashion. Now, you see, here's the deal with what's happening in Australia and what's happening in Canada and the UK. This is a different crash. This is not your ordinary tanking of the markets. This is nothing, you know. Okay. It's like trying try and make it. Let me explain it like this. Let me explain it like in gold, in a gold standard. This is how much gold we have on the planet. Okay? But then someone adds all this fool's gold to the gold we have. Boom. Price of gold drops. We got so much gold. Where'd it come from? All the reserves just dumped all their gold onto the market. Gold drops. With housing, it's different. They kept building and more housing, adding to the market. Nobody addressed the empty units. There's 96,000 empty units in Sydney. All investment properties. They kept adding, and now the house of cards is going to fall. Why? Because the price of housing went up so high that the average Australian proper, Canadian proper can't afford a house anymore. So there was intermigration in these countries where people left these big cities to smaller towns like Hobart and Melbourne and other cities, and now those cities were feeling the after effect. This is going to be the biggest housing crisis that you could ever imagine that's ever going to happen. The biggest crash, you know why? Never in human history has someone living, working, established in an English-speaking country that works full-time has to fully leave a city 200 miles away because they can't live in their own city. This is the first time it's ever happened in the last 10 years, I'm saying. It's been building up to this. Nobody has any idea how big this is going to be, but it's going to be huge. People can't even fathom how big this is going to be. Record low interest rates, mass immigration, foreign investing. It's just now they're going to have to raise rates. They're going to have to combat inflation. It's going to be the biggest nightmare of all. You guys have no idea. You guys have no idea how every human being is going to be affected by this housing. You know, and every human being is being affected by this housing because either they held back on getting married, they held back on having kids, they held back on starting a family, they held back on taking a job, they quit a job because they couldn't afford to live where they were. There's so many adverse effects with this housing market because the middle class isn't buying anymore, and they're hoping more rich investors to come in and fill the void, and that's what's happening, guys. And someone's commenting on the YouTube video here. Let's look over here. CJ Boyle says, it will be huge, Mike. In the 1890s, Melbourne dropped 90%, and it took over 7 years to recover. Oh, yeah. I don't think it wasn't even 10 or 15 years ago where the Australian dollar was at like 70 or 58 cents to the US dollar, 60 cents. I can't remember, but it's like 15 years ago, 20. It took a long time for Australia to really recover. Mikey Rides It says, so when do you anticipate BC housing crash? It's on the horizon, but never seems to arrive. It's already crashing. It's deflating. Slowly deflating. It's going to take a bit of time. Like I said, this is not your typical pop, and then 5 years ago everyone forgets about it. It's not your typical. The reason why everyone forgot about the 2008 crash, because it's kind of a typical housing crash, but it was on a grander scale. But this, you have no idea. You have no idea how it's going to go down. Woo! You have no idea. TJH says, Mike Martins is a real man. He smokes 5 packs of Forest Fire every day. Then Mike writes it. Forest Fire, you mean hickory flavored air. Then the CJ Boyle says, before the GFC, the Aussie dollar was on parity with the US dollar. So, yeah, guys. Left wing, right wing. Why is this happening? Yeah, okay, we're going to have people sit to the left and people sit to the right of the room. Okay, we have our differences. The problem is, we can't argue these differences because the left is so delusionalized that you can't even have a conversation with them. That's the problem. Okay, who's to the left? Stand to the left of the room. Okay, who's to the right? Stand to the right of the room. Okay, guys, let's debate. That's not happening anymore. Anyways, guys, I'm tired. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning here. Guys, don't forget to join me for Trends in the Housing Market this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Western Seaboard, 6:30 p.m. Western Seaboard time, guys. Western Seaboard, that's LA time, Vancouver time, Portland, Oregon time, Seattle, Washington time. CJ Boyle saying, when I was selling homes for builders, even lawyers and doctors under 35 years old were basically priced out. Oh, 1,000,000%. When those people in their own proper country can't afford to live, guess what? There's another thing coming, and people have no idea. It is so bad. I'm following the trends, and nothing's normal. It's not a normal crash. It's not even a normal deflation. It's severely abnormal, and you know, I've been preaching this for so long. I wanted it out. I moved 2 hours away from the city. I bought my house free and clear. And people are like, oh, Mike, you own your house. Why do you want it to go down? Because I want my kids to own a house. I want my kids to have a life. If my kids can't afford to buy a house, we're leaving. We're going to the Azores. We're going to the Philippines. I don't care. Because if they can't have ownership of their own stuff and live like pay as you go for the rest of their lives, then what's the point? That means the left won. Anyways. Free Speech New Zealand Radio says, we have seen a slow down in rental demand and price drop in Auckland. Yes, I read an article about that maybe 5-6 days ago. Since this time last year, 2 factors. Overdevelopment and our government has toughened up on student visas. Overdevelopment is huge. And that's why you're seeing a down in rental. Again, this is how many houses were on the market. Hey, let's build more. And then let's keep these houses empty. Let's keep these houses. These houses are going to stay empty. These are going to be for rent. Wait a minute. Oh, foreign investors are fleeing. Whoa, this goes on the market. Oh, look what's available for rent. Look at all the empty homes on the market for rent now. Look at that. Or interest rates are going up. I got to rent my empty property out. Look at all this. And that's what happens, people. Tide changes. And then Mikey writes and says, if you're right, Mike, our kids' futures are at stake. I am right. It's happening. Did you see what CJ Boyle said? That lawyers and doctors and people, they're priced out. So if my son says, Daddy, I want to become a doctor one day. Why? So you could be poor? I mean, if you want to help people, then that's okay. Be a doctor. But if you want to be a doctor to maybe hopefully get a good income, what's the point? You can't even afford to buy a house in your own city. What's the point? TJH says your house will be worth $5 million in 10 years. CJ Boyle says I bought a business instead of a home and left the city I grew up in, Sydney. I have a friend who is a CEO and co-founder of a multi-million-dollar company. Even he refuses to buy a home. That says something. Yeah. And when I was in Vancouver, it's not that I couldn't afford to buy a $2 million home. I'm not spending $2 million in a house that's realistically worth $300,000. I'm sorry. Then Mr. Gill says, you never really own the land. It's always going to be there while we won't be. Doesn't matter if you rent. It just matters what you want out of life. That's true. We own the whole world. This is a Garden of Eden. That is very true. We never really... What do we own, really? What do we take with us when we go to the next life? I believe there's a next life. But what do we take with us? Nothing. And then someone's saying $2 million for a teardown. Yeah. That's nuts. Why? Watch my Living the Dream series. Look what I bought for $260. Here, watch my Living the Dream series. Look at this house I bought for $260. Watch my Living the Dream series, guys, if you're bored. Right here. Look. Thing's got like 10 bedrooms in it. 7 bath. It's huge. My backyard's like almost an acre. My whole land is 0.9 acres. The whole land. I bought that for $260. Now, the house is making me money. Why? My online business that I'm actually putting into is actually really giving me a really big return. And it's back to left and right. I'm a right-winger. I believe in the right because I work hard. And when I believe that when we work hard, we are entitled to the benefits of our labor, or what we reap what we sow. And that's our natural rights. We have ownership in our own work. And each person has the freedom to create an exchange. And that's what I believe in. And there's always going to be inequality. Because it depends who puts in what and what they get back. You put in 0, you get back 0. You work 0 hours a week, you get 0. You work 50 hours a week, you get something. And that's why I'm on the right, because of that. Left wing, capitalism, and deterioration of ownership, disintegration of ownership, and steal from the rich and give to the poor. I don't believe in that, guys. So, somebody's saying that house, Mike, you bought would be $3 to $4 million in most Australian cities. And then TJH says Mike Martins is living the dream. $260,000 for a multi-million-dollar home in a few hours outside the city. You can too. And then X proportionate of wealth from middle class. So it's not a multi-million-dollar house. Do you know what this house is worth, guys? It's worth $260. because that's what a house is supposed to be worth. That house, that's worth 260 right there, because that's realistically, when you think realistically, that's what the average person could afford with their wage. Now I've completely converted this. See this window right here, guys? That's where I'm talking to you guys from. This whole little section here is this huge office here that I'm in, with an ensuite, 7 bathrooms in this house, man. So that's what it's worth. I bought a house for what it was worth. There is no, CJ Boyle said, there is no middle class in Australia anymore. You're either rich or broke as F. Yeah, because the middle class is no longer spending. When the middle class spends money, they create, they build, because they build the economy because they're making money. They're being taxed on their wages to support the infrastructure. The infrastructure gets supported for them to drive their car down the street to the Walmart and buy stuff there. And when the middle class stops buying, the middle class starts to disappear. It's very simple. I mean, you can see it happening around you. When the middle class can't afford and has no more disposable income, then you start seeing problems in the retail. Once the retail starts to go, imports die down, GDP goes down, interest rates need to go up, you know. Then bingo, Mike, no one has disposable income anymore and it's affecting everything. Exactly. Because the middle class aren't buying from the middle class anymore. So back in the day, I know people watching this 100 years from now won't believe me when I say this, but you start up with a starter home with a 2-bedroom, and you'd get married or hitched or whatever you want to call it, get jacked, settle down, you buy your first 2-bedroom, then you build a little bit of equity, sell it, then you buy a 3-4 bedroom and have a few kids, then move up, and then type of thing. I didn't do that with my house because I'm already old. I was in Vancouver. I'm 40 years old. I was in Vancouver saving for 5 years to buy a damn house. And I'm like, you know what? I want the space. I want to live in a big house. It's not because I want a big house materialistically. It's because I want a big family. And yeah, no. I left and I just bought this free and clear with the down payment I saved. I just bought that free and clear, and I've lots of leftover money. You know, so it's not like, you know what I'm saying here, guys, right? So petrol, gas costs $1.60 to $1.90 per liter here in Australia. $100 to fill your tank. Someone says, am I NDP or liberal? You know what, guys? I'm left-wing. Left. I'm right, left-wing. I'm right. I've always been right. I've been right my whole life. I'm right-wing. I don't care. Because I don't care. You know why? Because a lot of parties are left, right, center. They don't truly, how do you say it, define what is a left and a right. The parties don't define what it is. It's either violence or building, working hard. You know what I'm saying? I've always been a right wing all my life, and you know, that's just how I am. I again, people just tuning in. I have a whole bunch of people now tuned in. Right. The liberals sold out the middle class to the rich. Yeah, no, I'm not liberal, guys. Not even close. Not even close. I'm right-wing, guys. Right. Work hard. My definition of right-wing, if you're just tuning in, right-wing means you work hard, you're entitled to the benefits of your... I know this by heart, because I learned this when I was a kid. Right-wing, You work hard. You're entitled to the benefits of labor, of your labor, natural rights. You have ownership to your own work. Each person has the freedom to create and exchange. I work hard and I make 1,000 of these a day and I sell 1,000 a day. My neighbor decides to make 0 a day and he's pissed off because I'm living the life and he isn't, because he's putting in 0 and I'm putting in 100%. Left definition. Left is a bridge to communism. You know, it's socialism, capitalism, disintegration of property, disintegration of ownership, sorry, is what I meant to say. Socialism is a bridge to capitalism, and capitalism is a slope to communism, if you know the Marxist theory. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, left is free money. Left is again, disintegration of ownership. Socialism, the left leads to socialism, where it's social payments, free money type of thing. That's exactly what it means. And I'm a right wing, always. I believe in working hard. I believe in inequality, because inequality is important. Because if I want to put 100%, I'm going to get back 100%. If Joe Schmo wants to put in 5% and expect 100% back, well, he has another thing coming. And that's how it works. So, Metal Gear says, left, take money from productive people, give it to lazy people. Yes. Again, left. Socialism, capitalism is a total disintegration of ownership. Give from the rich, take from the rich, and give to the poor. People, you need to understand the American Constitution. Okay, I'm not an American, and I understand what the American Constitution is trying to say. Equal rights does not mean equal wealth or even equal abilities. And that's what people are forgetting. Equal rights in the American Constitution is not equal wealth or equal abilities or equal returns. Because there's no way, if I could produce 1,000 of these a day, and then my neighbor only produces 10 of them a day, and tries to get back the same return I'm getting with only his 10. Someone's saying, Free Speech New Zealand Radio says, our society in the West has fallen for the tall poppy syndrome. If someone else does well, the others condemn them unless they share the fruits of labor. Yeah, and there's always going to be inequality, people. There's always going to be someone taller than me. There's going to be someone smarter than me. There's always going to be someone more good looking than me. There's always going to be, so the inequality is always going to be there. The more you put in, the more you get back. It's you put in 100%, you get back 100%. You know, I took this whole eBay thing, working from home. I took it up a notch, and I took it seriously. Can I make $20,000 a month selling on eBay? Oh yes, you can. Oh yes, you can. But you got to put in the 100%. You know, you have to put in to get back. And a lot of people just don't want to put in the 100% anymore. Someone's asking me what kind of mic this is. It is a blue snow globe mic. Equal outcome equals communism. That's exactly what it is. Just geographically and demographically, it's impossible to have equality. That's true. We can't have equality. It's inequality. And that's how we learn from each other. That's how we grow off each other. That's how we become better than others in life. And I'm not saying better than others and I'm just trying to be more motivational about being better than the guy ahead of you so you can make it. You know what I'm saying? Someone's saying, did you know that Australia has no free speech rights? 0. And then Metal Gear Mark 3 says, some people want to take 0 risk and want all the reward. And then someone asked, do you put in 100%? I don't know if they're asking me, but whenever I try something or experiment with something, I usually try to put in as much as I can to get a real outcome, to know if it's worth my time. And if it doesn't work, I don't cry about it. I move on to the next thing, my next project. So, Unauthorized said, found you from a Stefan Molyneux retweet. Thank you for your courage. Check out Mike's eBay store. Good stuff. Yeah, the Stefan Molyneux thing is what sparked me to do this alt-right thing. I'll show you guys here. When I saw this thing here, New Zealand, alt-right activist Stefan Molyneux and Lauren Sutherland in limbo after venue backs out of hosting. Whoa, 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 whoa. Alt-right? Look it up. It brings up a bunch of crap here. Neo-Nazism, Holocaust deniers, far right. I can't even read any of this crap. Misogyny, protectionists, neo-fascism, neo-Confederates, Holocaust deniers, far right, hate groups, and climate change deniers, global warming deniers. It's like, what the hell is this crap? So guys, I'm here to tell you what right-wing means. And that's why I'm doing this show today. The Kunin says, love from Holland. Yeah, baby. Thank you. Someone's saying, do you love Trump? I love Trump. You know what? I love anyone that wants to make America great. Heck, I'd love anyone that would love to make Canada great. You know? Or try or attempt to. Someone says, Mike, here's a documentary recommended for you. NWO, Communism by the Back Door by Dennis Wise. I'll look at it. I'll actually take a look at that later when I go to bed. Hola, Mike. I live in Merritt, too. Can you give your opinion on Merritt politics, right-wingers in Merritt? That's Ramirez Santiago. You know, I was called a racist the other day at the pharmacy because of something I said about Donald Trump. And that basically I'm a racist because I hope Donald Trump makes America great again. And I don't know. I just believe in working hard. I believe in building and creating your destiny. You know, you don't have to work hard physically and carrying cement bags. You can work hard in your brain or your mind. You know, there's many ways to work hard. It could be a mental workout. It doesn't have to be always working hard as in slaving around. You know what I'm saying? Then someone says, Kiwis are speaking up now, Mike. Stefan and Lawrence cancellation has woken the best, I think. Then Ramirez says that PharmaSave or blacks. I don't want to say where. I don't want to say where because there's only 2 pharmacies in town. But yes, I was. I mean, I wish I filmed. Oh, I mean, it's hard to film somebody when they want to demonize you because they're not going to. They know they're being recorded, so they kind of change their demeanor, right? But when you're not recording somebody or something, and you're not recording them like this, they're obviously going to say what they want to say, right? But yes, I was called a racist for saying that I hope Donald Trump makes America great again. You know, I don't know, guys. I made a video the other day about Ronald Reagan, and he's a famous right-wing politician who really worked his butt off to keep his economy afloat, and debt wasn't as hot. Debt was nothing in comparison to what today's American debt is today. But Ramirez says you should run for political office here in October, Mike. I am. I have a whole series I'm starting on my channel called My Political Run. And I already got my application. It's like this big. And I am filling out all the paperwork and getting everything set up. And it will take... Watch that series, guys. I'm gonna start putting up videos. My campaigning is gonna start on September 5th. I'm going to show you guys my process and getting some ads on Facebook. I'm going to get some buttons made, signs. I'm going to get all my friends to put signs in their yard. I'm going to call myself the silent majority. Vote for Mike Martin's council, the silent majority. Because there is a silent majority, and you know what? They need to be represented because there's too many social justice warriors getting in with this mushy left feelings, running off feelings, running their what's it called? Political platform on feelings. No, political platform has to be about housing. Political platform needs to be about improvements. We need to find out what the defaults are, pitfalls, expenditures. Why is it taking 5 years to fix a pothole? Things need to be addressed. And it's all about feelings now. Someone says, you are so important for us here in Holland. I love Trump and your country. Here in Holland, MSM bashes Trump. I get hope from your program. Thank you, my brother. Mikey Rides, it says, Mayor Mike Martins has a nice ring to it. Then Crypto, Red Pill Crypto Shark says, I'm awoke after the Stefan and Lauren situation. Media so biased. Good one on News Hub right now. And then Ramirez Santiago says, Ramirez, where you from, dude? ¿Tú hablas español? ¿De dónde eres? Ramirez says, I'll put a sign in my yard. Then CJ Boyle says, the housing affordability problem has done to every English-speaking country deliberately. Think about it. If you're financially stressed, you breed less. Less kids, less people, less fight back. Exactly. Free speech says, typical, the left loves immigration unless they're pro-Trump and self-sufficient. Them racists too. You know what? Okay, I got something I want to say, okay? It's like this. It's like someone standing in front of a podium and says, who here opposes, who here is pro-abortion? Or who here opposes abortion? Oh, we all oppose abortion. We don't want abortion. We don't want... Okay, who here wants to adopt? No one puts up their hand. So, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. It's kind of you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, like type of, you know, situation. Yeah, the loud social... whoa. Well, the comments are moving so... Comments are moving fast here, okay. The loud social justice warrior crowd is way overblown. They are not as numerous as they are loud and annoying. Then Peter O says, the American MSM vilification of Russia is just pure paranoia. America's enemies are internal and the same group that assassinated Tsar Nicholas. Yeah, that was Tsar Nicholas was murdered. He was an assassin. He was murdered. Assassination assassination means you're murdered. Yeah, okay, never mind. I'm thinking of a firing squad. I'm sorry, guys. Yes. Tsar Nicholas was actually lined up against the wall with his whole family and was shot down by a firing squad. So, he was murdered in cold blood. Anyways, get woke or go broke. Hashtag. Then someone says, I am a sister of a 60-year-old. Haha. Cusses and a lit of love to you all. And then Ramirez says, no, Spanish. Grew up in Toronto. I live in Merritt now. Right on. Come by my shop. Come by my store. You know my store, Merritt Toys and Games. Come and see me. CJ Boyle says, it was Leon Trotsky who thought up the term racism. Yeah, it's I don't know, guys. I don't know what's happening. That's why I'm running for council in this town. Yes, I'm right beside the Legion. You can't miss me. I'm right beside the Legion. A lot of people come visit me. Guys, I want to thank all the people that have come from out of town to visit me. I have people from Edmonton visit me this week. White Rock. Victoria. I had some friends visiting for a few days here from Colombia. Then I had somebody else visiting me from Netherlands, was passing through and came in to see me. So I want to thank everyone that comes in to see me in person. I like it a lot. It really means a lot to me when people come and, you know, yeah. So Mikey writes, it says, I'm going to come by your shop one day when I'm in the area. Remember, guys, I'm closed Sundays and Mondays. I'll be open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. As usual, making videos and hanging out. Because I'm living the dream. Why? Because I put in my 110%. I put in my 110%. And I'm reaping what I sow. So before I cancel and terminate this transmission, I don't believe any of this crap that's up here. I don't believe any of this crap we're seeing here. And they're working so hard to want us to believe this crap. Why? Now, definition of a right-wing person that follows the right or in leaning right is a person who works hard, is entitled to the benefits of their labor and natural rights, have ownership in their work, and each person has the freedom to create and exchange at their will. I produce 1,000 of these, and my neighbor produces 10. I sell 1,000 of these. I make more money than my neighbor. I live better than my neighbor. I live the dream faster than my neighbor. My neighbor just sits there and complains that I'm living a better life than him, and why am I getting all, you know, all the good stuff, you know? Because you're not putting 100% in. Left. Definition. Left. Communism, socialism, capitalism. Socialism is the bridge to capitalism to communism. That's what I believe in. It's total disintegration of ownership. Give from the rich, take from the rich, and give to the poor. That's what I believe, people. That's what my definitions of left and right mean. That's what I've always believed. And, it's simple. They're trying to turn the whole planet into a giant communist state. Then the Sook Jill says, everything is bull. Just live, travel, eat, don't worry, be happy. That's true. Be happy. You know, live the dream, people. Live it. Work for it. Get it. Love your neighbor. Christ, even if he only produces 10 of these damn things a day and I do 1,000, I still love my neighbor. Anyways, guys, I'm tired. I've been on here for 2 hours. Mike Martins, Mike in the Night signing off. I look forward to reading your comments below in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think of today's transmission. I don't want to go too political because I don't want my channel being shut down of what I think or believe. And if you're just joining us, scroll to the beginning of the video and watch it from the beginning. It's not that bad. Thank you, guys. Good night. Godspeed. God bless. Big hug to everybody. And thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments going through. I appreciate that. CJ Boyle. I'm going to like CJ Boyle here. I'm going to make CJ Boyle a... CJ Boyle has been officially upgraded as moderator, and so has Mikey Rides It too, upgraded as moderators on the channel. I appreciate it. And hasta la vista, my friends. Good night. Hasta mañana.